I bet a day does not go by when you do not hear Chat GPT. I've talked to several B2B brands and they're not sure, how do we utilize this? What is Chat GPT? How should we use it? And how can we get started? My name is Donna Peterson, and you are listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. Today, I am going to delve into ChatGPT. What is it? How can B2B brands use it? And how can you get started? We're going to go down to the basics, people. You got to understand the basics if you want to build off them for the future. And let me tell you, now is the time. Now is the time you have to look into ChatGPT because you're going to want it in your pocket. You're going to want it in your company in the future. So let's jump in. What is ChatGPT? ChatGPT. G stands for generated. P, it's pre-trained by all the information that's out there. And T, it's transformers. Warning, listen to what I just said. Your responses, you give a response, it generates a text response. It generates a response based on everything that is out there. Now we all know everything that is out there is not accurate. And that is why anytime you get a response, it is your job to check it over. Make sure that the context is correct. Make sure that the facts that it's mentioning are correct. And then also to tweak it to make sure it sounds like your unique brand, your unique voice. Because if you don't do that, all you're doing is generating a bunch of content that sounds like everybody else, and you're just crowding up the marketplace. I'm not here to help you do that. I am here to help you inspire success by doing quality initiatives. And that's why ChatGPT can be a great resource for you when it is done properly. So ChatGPT, it started in November of 2022. That's when it was introduced to all of us, and it all catapulted us to a whole new area of talking about artificial intelligence. In May of 2024, we were introduced to ChatGPT 4.0 or 4 Turbo. It was released. This, I believe, was a good game changer for B2B brands. Before, when ChatGPT first came out and people were putting in prompts and getting responses, they were elementary. Some people call 3.5 to be the toddler version. So for quality B2B brands, you're putting in prompts and you're getting responses that really didn't make sense. They were too elementary. It wasn't the information you needed. So a lot of brands just said, no, ChatGPT is not for us. Well, OpenAI's been working on the different versions, and now they have this turbo version that I think B2B brands need to stop, and they need to analyze and figure out how they can utilize it within their own companies. What happened with Chat for Turbo? First of all, it became faster. You would ask a prompt, it would quickly come back with an answer. It was able to optimize and handle your instructions better. Sometimes you used to put in instructions and when it give you the most bizarre responses and you're like, well, that's not what I asked it to do. This is garbage. I'm wasting my time here. They have worked on that. It is better. It also used to be when you used to have these conversations with ChatGPT, if they were long conversations, Chat would kind of forget. They would kind of forget, like, what was the initial question? What were we talking about? And so the responses got worse. They have improved the memory so that it is there now for long conversations. You get a higher quality of response that you can now use for a variety of tasks. And now you can also integrate Chat GPT into your systems and different applications. It really has evolved into an area where B2B brands must take notice. B2B brands must start looking into it now. So why is this so relevant for B2B brands? The answer lies in the versatility and the efficiency that it's going to give you. It is that 24/7 assistant right by your side who can help you with so many tasks. It can help you with researching. It can help you with content. It can help you with customer support. It can help you write code. It can help you get image ideas. The list goes on. But it is something that is right there 24/7 for you to use. Chat GPT can handle it for you. It can save you time. It can reduce operational costs and deliver a more personalized experience to those clients and prospects. Business now is all about building relationships. You've got to work on building relationships with prospects, with customers, with your employees, with vendors. That all sounds great, but it takes time and it takes effort. But this is where ChatGPT can help you with that part so that you can then concentrate on really developing those relationships. So here are some practical applications that B2B brands can use it. The first, research. Love it for research. You can go in now and you can ask it very technical questions in regards to a specific piece of equipment. What does the piece of equipment do? What job title or function would be using that piece of equipment? What other types of equipment would you need if you have this HPLC machine? It can start to paint a really good picture of exactly that piece of equipment, who would use it, what the whole facility would look like, what the outcome would look like. Before we would go into Google, we would do a Google search. We could say, what does an HPLC machine? You would probably get a definition, and then it would have several links listed below. Well, now, instead of clicking on all those different places, trying to piecemeal the information, you're able to get it in one place. And as you communicate back and forth with ChatGPT, you get a more refined answer to exactly what you want. So use it for research. The second, which we've all heard about, is content creation. You can use ChatGPT to help you create content, whether it's blogs, social media posts, email, write a book, create an outline. It can help you create that type of content. Industrial brands, sometimes you're sitting there with a very small marketing team, or maybe you don't have a marketing team at all. It gets pushed maybe to sales or it gets pushed to the owner of the company. You now can go in and use ChatGPT to create those social media posts for a month. You can give it keywords, you could give it themes. You could say, I want to do 10 LinkedIn posts this month. Create me social media posts. Now, like I said in the beginning, it creates them, which is great, but you've got to go over it. You've got to make sure that it contextually sounds like your company. It has the message you need for your company, why your company exists. And then it has to sound like your brand, but still it saved you all that time of just sitting down, working on a strategy, but also making it cohesive so that all 10 of those social media posts work together as a strategy. Not that, oh, one day we're talking about a cat and then you're talking about your equipment and then you're giving an inspirational quote here, but nothing gets tied in together. With ChatGPT, you can cut through that so that it all ties in together. With this 4.0 or 4 Turbo now, you're able to put articles. So for me, I am constantly putting together articles that I want to, but you know how your schedule is. It gets too busy. You don't get back to reading those articles. I now can upload 10 articles, at one time and say, could you please read these articles and come back to me for takeaways for B2B brands or manufacturers that would be useful for them in the future? It goes through all those articles and it comes back with that takeaway. I can take that information and put it into the content we create so that it resonates with the audience. It will speak to that audience. People will say, oh my gosh, they read my mind. How did they know? But meanwhile, we're taking a synopsis of everything that is out there. You are that valuable partner that they need because you're giving them the information they want. You can do the same thing with books in your industry. You could say, oh, from this book, and example, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. What are the 3 takeaways I need to incorporate in my business right now so that we can succeed in the future? Let me just say, I'm not saying use chat over reading the book. I've always read the books first, but sometimes you need that refresher or the reminder, and I don't have time to reread the books over again, but I can go in there and quickly do that. So it is very helpful in having this Chat GPT to help create content that really speaks to our audience. You can also use it for customer support so that you set up Chat GPT to answer those frequently asked questions so that your live customer support or your sales team can really dig into the really deep, important questions that can't be answered by Chat GPT or a chatbot. And then the 4th thing is email campaigns. With the information, like we said, we've uploaded, but now you can say, okay, I'm going to be creating this webinar. Can you give me an email series promoting this webinar, what my goals are, who should attend, and it will create an email series for me. But even better is now you can say, but I need a series that's specific for CEOs and I need a series that is specific for an engineer. You're able to have ChatGPT change around the content so it speaks the way those individuals like to be spoken to, making it more responsive. So how do you get started with ChatGPT? Well, you can go on to OpenAI. They have the several different versions. You can start with the free version or go with the paid, which is more robust and can analyze all that information and URLs for you. Or there's also some CRM platforms that are now integrating with ChatGPT. We're on the HubSpot platform. ChatGPT is integrated in there, so we're able to use it within our platform. Decide what platform you want to utilize it on and get started. You've got to start playing with it. You've got to start talking with it back and forth. My good friend Matthew McCluskey always says it. He's like, just talk to it, talk to it. And then I heard a gentleman over the weekend, he's like, you got to be curious. You got to constantly be asking it more and more questions. So what are the best practices to get started? Well, the first thing, and you're going to think this is funny, is I name it. I name my Chat GPT because then it gets me more in that frame of mind of it is a conversation back and forth. My Chat GPT is Izzy. Izzy because I am always talking about inspiring success. I was going to call it Inspir, but that didn't roll off my tongue. And Izzy just sound like inspiring success. So my Chat GPT is Izzy. Giving it a first name really helps me work on developing that conversation type of rapport with it. I don't like to think of prompts. I want to think of it as questions and answers. I'm sitting at a coffee shop with Izzy and we're talking. Then the next thing is pick one thing you want to work on with chat. Whether it's research, whether it is content creation, but even with content creation, make it be just social media posts for LinkedIn, but create one thing, get really good at that, and then expand into other areas. Make sure you're always reviewing and editing the output again, so it sounds like your brand and it sounds like you. You're constantly training and improving the AI responses so that it gives you the answers you need. For example, recently I was doing a podcast episode and I asked Izzy for a title. Well, Izzy wasn't very good. Izzy came back with something like Unleashing Revolution. I'm like, Izzy, I need something plain and simple. I want to be back to the basics. I want to inform the people of this information. I'm not trying to do some flashy sale. Well, you know what? Izzy came back with a much better title, just back to basics. Now Izzy knows how I want to be speaking, so my responses back are going to be more in line with what I need. So start small, get really good at one, and then go into the other areas. As you start to utilize the AI, the Chat GPT, into your thing, analyze the results. So if you use it for social media posts, analyze your results. Have your posts have gotten a better engagement? Are you seeing more likes? Are you seeing more connections? What is it? See if what you are doing on AI is working. If it's not, always tweak it. But if it is, hey, take it to the next level. Now, finally, you've got to stay updated. These AI tools are changing extremely quickly. I have recommended AI tools that lost their funding and then they were gone. We're sitting here today talking about Chat GPT 4 Turbo with features that I didn't even think would be possible back when I first started talking about 3.5. To think that it can analyze a book and give me the takeaways blows my mind. I can give it a URL, like my company's URL, worldinnovators.com, and say, are we utilizing the features that were mentioned and takeaways from this specific book? It'll analyze my URL with that book, which is great because we usually read books. I usually highlight, I usually write the information down, but then I never go back and actually incorporate it. Now, ChatGPT can do all that for me. So stay informed. Always connect yourself. Listen to the B2B Marketing Excellence podcast. I'm constantly going to be bringing the new features up and making it relevant for people. So stay updated. Now, before we wrap up, I want to encourage you to experiment with ChatGPT. Treat it as an individual that you've just met at Starbucks for a cold brew. You talk to it, give it a name, and really start to share information back and forth. This is the way you're going to get the most valuable content or information from ChatGPT. So to recap, today we talked about what is ChatGPT? How can B2B brands use it in practical applications? And how to get started. I hope you take this information to get started. If you want more information and help your brand utilize ChatGPT, go to our website. We are offering workshops now. We can do some one-on-one training with you. We can do one-on-one calls because maybe you don't need 6 calls. Maybe you just want one, an exploratory call to talk about your initiatives and how to get started, but check it out on our website. Also, please subscribe to the B2B Marketing Excellence podcast. Like I said, I'm always bringing up new features about ChatGPT, but also about B2B brands and industrial brands, how to improve their marketing. I thank you very much for your time today. I'm glad you were here to listen. I think this will really help you so that ChatGPT can do the basic work for you so that you can strategically go out there and plan to set up those workflows and to work on those relationships. Go meet some of those clients in person again. Go to some more trade shows in person because ChatGPT has this stuff done for you. Thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the World Innovators B2B Marketing Excellence podcast. If you'd like to be updated when new episodes come out, don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out our social media accounts to stay up to date on B2B marketing trends.